here you are, it's a blue sky. I'm honored. It's fun to do this. Cool.
So we have Vandan, eh?
Hello, Jay Gurudev.
Jai Gurudev.
Nice to see all of you.
I'm super excited.
We're going to talk about intuition, so I'm already seeing everyone who's going to watch this video.
You're foreseeing.
Yeah.
So we're here with Vandan.
Yes.
I'm super excited because actually, I don't know if I told you this. You are the first resident that I met here in the ashram 4 years ago. So when I first stepped in the ashram, it was in the light hall. It was a group of Romanians. It was country week, and Vandan was carrying a tray, and he just stopped. He looked at us and he said, "Hi, how are you?" And I looked at him.
Actually, I do remember. Yes, of course, I do remember. He was super nice, actually.
And yeah, it was the first contact with the residents. So somehow the circle is closing, and after all these years, we are having a proper conversation.
That's right. And even for that, we are scraping away time, right? It's always to navigate through the shark. How do you say, shark vessel or little shark ocean of the ashram? You always have to navigate well to scrape time away or to juggle everything, you know. I think, actually, speaking about being a resident, since the first day, you are entering a different world of dynamics, no? So actually, since we want to talk about intuition a little bit.
Yeah, this is the topic.
I think intuition becomes a great instrument, inner instrument that we develop, because at least for me, you can't handle everything the logical way or through the function of the mind. You can't. So you just develop a feeling of how things move. If you have a good feeling, you move along. If you have a bad feeling, you better do something else, you know? So this is normally because the ashram dynamics is it's too intricate. It's like so many things happening all the time and you're always busy. So how to do everything properly? So I think really like what we develop is a lot of this kriya. No? You develop
awareness.
Absolutely.
Awareness, yeah.
This is the prime field. I think Bhakti Marga is the prime field to develop that, because so many things are happening that are beyond the mind and that normally they should not be. You know? And anyway, they are there for a reason. So, and you need to keep up the good vibes also, right? So for me, that's Atma Kriya. Like always do the Kriya, and the Kriya, it will show itself in daily life, and you can handle things also with a certain humor, you know? Yeah. It's so nice, actually. Of course, we're coming to the cows. The cows, they will have a certain episode now in this series.
Yeah, we should.
Surabi and Kamadi, no?
You are doing puja every morning, no?
Well, at the moment we have vacation because it's just too freezing cold. So Giri, who's normally taking care of the cows, he said that even, of course, with these temperatures, like in the morning, the water is just frozen. You know, you can't use it. It's also too cold. But with more moderate temperatures, like we used to do every morning, early morning actually, and it was kind of a mix of a Krishna and cow puja. So it was more like a Vrindavan puja. The cow stable is decorated accordingly. We have Banki Bihari there, we have Samurti Krishna there, and of course we have the cows there. So it's said that just doing worship to the cow, even like if you want to go scripturally, it says amazing things about the cow. Of course, all the devas, different powers and aspects, they live in the cow because she's considered the mother. And
Cow is the mother, yeah.
Yeah, so she's actually Bhumi Devi. So taking care of cows or being in touch with cows, it relieves you, it helps you, it installs a certain worship, and they're very lovely. Like for me, naturally, since I was a child, we grew up in the countryside. Next door there's a field with the cows. the black and white cows. You more find in northern Germany. And for me, it was always very normal. I like going actually with a lot of animals, actually, because where I grew up, there was always a lot of animals. There were cows and dogs and horses and all kinds of birds. Sometimes they flew into the house, and I was always saving the birds. Yeah, it's actually nice.
So how did it all start? I mean, you grew up in the farm and you ended up in an ashram. How is this journey? How is this path unfolding for you? And maybe we can touch upon the Pathfinder program that you're doing, because it's also related to intuition, and maybe we can share some context about your own journey, how you ended up from a farm
to be honest,
here.
It started like when I was 13. 13. So I, for some reason, had this thought I wanted to know what is life about. You know, it's very unusual for another kid in that age, unless you are Swami Keshava or something, I don't know. But really, I was really living up in very normal conditions. Family environment was actually not very good. It was very hostile. But I had this thought, this intense thought that would not go away, to find out what is life about. And every morning I would be in the car with my father. He would drive me to school and drop me off there. And I would ask him, Daddy, can you tell me what life is about and what I should do with my life? And he said a pretty standard thing. He's a very also materially successful, he was a lawyer. He said, you know, just make a good living, you earn a lot of money, and you be well off, you know, just work hard. And it didn't answer the question, right? So that was very important for me since I was 13, and I drove my life accordingly. Also very much to the dismay of my parents. I was not an easy child, so to say, because I did things that other kids did not do. I started reading books, certain books.
Blasphemy.
I started to explore, and I really started to seriously explore what I can do. So the first move that I made, I went to boarding school. I sent myself to boarding school in order to grow. You know?
It was your choice.
Yeah. So it was a Jesuit boarding school, 5 years. I went there to learn, to grow, essentially to grow up, because I was living in the countryside. There was nothing happening there. So I kind of felt I'm losing out. So that was the first move, and it was a good move. So, yeah, and then later I studied hospitality management, like, you know, wanted to be a hotelier. I wanted to have an international career, etc. And then when I was 19, actually the whole thing came down, and I seriously doubted everything that I wanted to plan out. I was almost dead, actually, at that age. And I survived. And the moment I survived, I said, well, what do you do now? So, and then I discovered also Indian spirituality, right? And I married, and the mother-in-law, for the first wedding anniversary, she said, you know, she lived in Germany, so come and spend your first wedding anniversary here at our house. It's really nice, and there is an interesting guru just around the corner. And that was the former ashram, Stephanshof,
Wow.
in just on the other side of the river Rhine, right?
No, that's something, bro.
And
that's not a coincidence.
I was 30. Guruji was 30. It's the same age, kind of body age. And there was Shirdi Sai Baba Yagna. There was a darshan with like 50 people. There was food. You had the food, very simple monk food, under the roof. Everyone had to be silent while eating. And that was the first touch with Guruji. We went to darshan. That was the first time having that exposure to this Bhakti Marga energy. Everything was like super small. And there was a yagna. And at that time, my wife and I, we were devotees of Satya Sai Baba. And yeah, I mean, if you know Satya Sai Baba devotees, they're very loyal, you know. So I was very interested, I was curious, but I was still keeping on being a Satya Sai Baba devotee. But for some reason, I really started chanting the Vedas. So I don't know if it was a blessing of Guruji from the first darshan, or if it was my own interest, or it was a big mix of both, my own effort and God's grace. So that became my sadhana, and then it really took 6 years until I met Guruji again. So I was 36, and it happened very spontaneously. So the marriage that I was in, it was not very good, and it's not because I don't like marriage, but it was actually I was very much I really liked it, honored it, but for some reason I'm not the kind of guy for it, maybe, you know.
Okay, yeah, you're not built for it.
Maybe not. Yeah, whatever. So it came to a point that also we had a bhajan group every week, and it was super. We were so much into it, you know. Actually, one other person from that group, she's also now a brahmacharini in the Vitaldam ashram.
Nice.
She also picked up the path, you know. And we went to a temple next to our where we lived. It's a Kamakshi temple of the Sri Lankan community in Europe. It's called Kamakshi Ampal Temple in Hamm, in northern Germany. We went there and we were invited to perform some bhajan for the priest on his birthday. We were done. It was a very nice performance. Everyone was clapping, like, very good. The white people did a nice job, you know. And when suddenly Guruji drove with his big SUV, the Audi SUV at that time. He drove up on the parking lot while I was standing in my car eating a sandwich. I was eating the sandwich, and suddenly there's like inside orange people, and I was like, who is this, you know, like important people. And then the bus of residents coming, everyone properly dressed. And I said, well, this is Swami Vishwananda. You met him like 6 years ago, you know. Oh my goodness, yeah. And
everybody knows everybody in this village, man.
Yes,
so
yes,
nice. All the people on the street, Giri, we're talking, he takes care of the cows. Let's go this way.
yeah, nice. And this is when I met Guruji seriously.
Wow.
He went out of the car, he looked straight into my eyes, like, boom, you know. And, you know, you don't know how to behave, like, okay, I say, oh, as a saint, or like, to be very polite, etc. And then he took us to come inside the temple, and he quickly talked to us like, yeah, how are you, who are you? And, really, you came to a previous ashram, no. So why don't you visit the new ashram? And so 2 weeks later we were there, like us as the whole group. And then from there on, everyone took their own individual journey in Bhakti Marga. Like,
wow.
It was solved in a very beautiful way. Like, my wife at the time, she found a new husband, like she's now kids with him.
Oh, nice.
I became brahmachari. Guruji called me to the ashram. The other person, she became a devotee, then later she became a brahmacharini. Other people, they hopped on, hopped off, kind of. But essentially from the group, I think it's me and the other brahmacharini. We became proper Bhakti Marga
You're
devotees.
following the path, walking
And
the
since
talk.
then I'm on this path. And Guruji, he made it happen that this question that I had when I was 13, you got it finally answered, you know? And it's not so simple. It's like, yeah, God is the aim of life. Of course it is.
Yeah.
But then we go into the mode of, you always live for tomorrow, and you always live for, when will I reach God? Will I reach God? All this fear and all this, you know, you're not in the moment. But this path really, it answered my question in a way, like, find your love by the grace of the Guru. We do our work daily. You surrender to the Guru, he will reveal the power of the heart, and that heart you put to service every day. You just do it for the sake of serving God. And that is your own freedom. This nobody can take you, you know, and not even if you reach God or not, if you're in this world or in another world, if you are whatever. But this is always the permanent truth, that whatever you have, you do your service to God. And that is the path. That is, for me, is liberating. You don't need to hope for tomorrow, right? And And with Guruji, it came as a feeling. So this, in short, like he made my life become round. It's not easy to go there.
Mm-hmm.
And Guruji, he says about going from the mind to the heart is like 40 centimeters. No?
Yeah.
And for me, like I lived 4 hours north from here. So the whole thing happened there. So for me, it was a journey of 4 hours south. And that's how it came. So, and of course, it is still a process. But this teaching of him to be a bhakta, to be a devotee of the Lord, and that is very satisfying because you have the connection to the Supreme Lord, you get that liberation from there, and at the same time you're not attached to liberation because actually it's about the service. And of course this, with all love and compassion for my father at the time, how can he answer? Only Supreme Sadguru can answer this. Yeah, and yeah, so this is in short how it came. And yeah, the Pathfinder program, it came actually, should I say by coincidence? No, there's no coincidence.
There's
but
no coincidence.
I always had the
On the path,
intention,
yeah.
I always had the intention to help people on a grand scale. In a way like, I spent all these decades of finding out and going through a lot of pain
Processes.
and
Yeah.
did a lot of detours, and I kind of sacrificed my life, whereas other people, I don't know, the people where I went to school with, they just had normal life. But they haven't arrived at this truth. So what I always wanted is to find a way of helping people. You know, I don't know if there's many areas inside of me that are pure, but this one is pure. Yeah. So this one is pure. I always unconditionally wanted to help people, and I think Guruji made something out of this. Yeah.
Huh.
So this is a program where I just sit with a person or a group, and I just look at them. You know, God shows me things, and God allows me to change things. Yeah, you could even say God is only doing it.
Yeah.
That's how I always do it. So, and it helps people to feel different about themselves. It helps people to feel different about this path. It helps people to feel different about God and Guruji, because it's very much working upon the feelings level. Yeah. I work with people, I do little games, I do little scenarios, we go through different stories together, but the stories and scenarios are real. Guruji makes them real. And so like this, the people are really going from being an old person, coming into the room, being a new person by Guruji's grace, going out of the room after 2 or 3 hours. And and this is his grace. Yeah, so I think, and it's also, it is a very much unorthodox Bhakti Marga thing.
Yeah, yeah.
It is an official Bhakti Marga thing. The program has been there for 3 or 4 years, but it's not the kind of way I'm sitting there, I'm talking intelligent things, I'm lecturing about, you should be like this, you should do more puja. It's not like this. But actually, it is an environment where nobody is ever judged. Yeah, you can even put on the table like, I don't know, I murdered my grandmother. Yeah, whatever it is. But that environment, it is free of any judgment, and people have the opportunity to feel understood.
I think this is what's lacking a lot in these days, the opportunity to be heard.
Yes.
That's why everybody's recording everything, even us. Maybe this comes from the same need. We somehow have this need of being heard, having a voice, and it's important to share what you have inside. And
Yes.
yeah, it's a nice program to give people this opportunity.
And you know, I mean, I told the story of like a couple of videos ago. You encouraged me to just start it. You know?
Yeah.
So I also needed this coaching in a way to to be understood and say, okay, maybe I'm not a super editor, I'm not a super whatever experience, but just to get started. And this is the principle that Guruji labels as acceptance. You know, and I think this. One word, this acceptance, this will become ever bigger because people globally are looking for this acceptance.
Oh yeah.
We are not looking for a glossy, shiny, perfect anymore, but everyone is looking just to be accepted. Like if you say, people are looking for love, you know, that's very high, like it's so far away in some way. If you say God's love,
Maybe people don't even have the experience. They don't know how it feels, what that means at the end of
Yeah.
the day.
And everything is super distorted, you know. Love is associated, you have to hug and kiss everyone. You don't know how to behave when you want to love. Or you have to, what does it mean?
Hello.
Rough, rough, rough,
Hello.
rough.
Dogs of Germany.
Yeah. So, but acceptance is something that really hits the point.
Yep.
And when, you know, they say, when you got me started, and just start the videos, man, it's
Yeah.
cool. How you are.
Yeah.
And that is the secret ingredient of, I think, helping people to move on.
Yeah.
And that is, in Bhakti Marga, it's very ambitious in some way.
Yeah.
You want to be the I don't know, the king in every area, and
And there's a standard. I mean, there's a high standard of people
Yes.
who are bettering themselves, and you want to reach that standard.
Yes.
You have good quality videos, good quality content. You have really intelligent people in the academy who are sharing knowledge. So sometimes maybe you feel, oh man, I cannot compare to these guys. And it's not about
Yeah.
comparing. It's about sharing who you are, shining your own authentic self. Like Guruji says, be yourself, and then you will find the voice. And slowly you can better yourself. But if you don't start, you have nothing to better. You have
Right.
nothing to work with. So I think, I love the approach of the Pathfinder, because it's also intuitive. I mean, you go with the people, and your intuition basically guides you on. So what should I speak about? What,
Yes. I mean, I always say the
how to
whole,
approach.
yes. I mean, I always say the whole thing is Guruji, and I never take any credit for it seriously, you know, never,
Yeah.
ever. And it says that the people are not sitting there with me, but they are sitting with a certain Shakti, if you will, that is making that happen. And I think that's Guruji's blessing, that he put upon my pure intuition, pure intention of wanting to be helpful. Yeah. That's it. I mean, really, that's it. I think in Bhakti Marga, whatever pure intention you have, I think in some way or the other, it will find a good way, you know. Other people have other qualities that they want to contribute, and also I see that amplified, you know. So this is, I think, when you offer it, and what I wanted to say is, in this, I sometimes jokingly say, we have Bhakti Marga, but then we have also Bhakti Maya.
Very good.
So I sometimes see it like, you know, you have the people in Dubai, like who has the tallest building, who has the, like you already have a golden Rolls Royce,
Yeah.
but then what else can you put on top in order to stand out?
Yeah.
So this is for sure a game that we cannot win.
Yeah. for
So
sure,
in Bhakti Marga, or like in Monaco, you know,
Yeah.
you're already rich, but you still want to stand out in comparison to the other person.
Yeah.
And this is Maya. This is a very dangerous game to enter, because we can't win that game. Because there will always be somebody who is better at something, and there will always be somebody who is, I don't know, closer to Guruji physically,
Yeah.
or like Guruji says in a way, the moment you enter into comparison, forget about it.
Yeah.
You're done, because that is the contra program to acceptance, you know. Whereas you compare yourself with others, you don't accept yourself as you are, and actually you don't change, and then every day you tell yourself how bad you are, you know. I mean, what a life quality is that, right? And then there's the other approach that Guruji does recommend, is to go into acceptance, and maybe you have 2-3 days of hardship, of accepting, you know. Actually me on my channel, like 3 days ago, I posted a little bit of a rough video, how a person told me about me, like what I have to change. And now that's maybe 4 days ago, but I took it, I swallowed it.
Yeah.
Seriously, I swallowed.
I saw the video.
And-
It was really nice. Nice to see you swallowing the bitter pill and making the process of, okay, maybe there is some truth there, and I need to look at myself first before looking at someone else.
Yes, and I clearly saw it as God's, you know, like take the opportunity to change now.
Yeah.
And I did. And okay, like 4 days of accepting it, well, it's not easy. It's not easy, you know. But it's so much faster to accept a thing even if it take you 1 or 2 weeks to actually really, whew, you know, it's true. And just look at it, and you can't be already a professional in this because maybe I never learned it, maybe nobody ever showed me, or whatever reason was. But I accepted it, and then you start from zero.
Of course, you know? The best place to be.
Yeah, but you have accepted it, and you went through the real work. And then I think Guruji, he will help you, you know, to move forward, to catch up. But that's, of course, it's the real work. But the whole other game of comparison, Bhakti Maya, who is better at this, who is better at that, very toxic, you know. Yeah. But I think also it has its place because we must go beyond that. We must become independent from that. So it's almost the toxic that is there. It's also teaching you, like, one time you go into it, you make yourself feel bad. I'm not like the other person, he's talking better, he's more elegant than me, blah, blah, blah. But then you feel, no, this is not really the message. Yeah. Guruji's message is to accept, and to accept means to love yourself first, and there you make serious steps. And then you suddenly, if you are living that truth yourself, you discover it with the other person also. They have the same issues. They also, like the person you admired before, like, oh, he or she is so great, has these qualities. You become more normal, authentic, and say, well, the person has the same issues. They also need to accept certain errors.
We all go through the same shit, man.
Yeah, and this is, I think this is where the world is going, to this acceptance. Yeah. Yeah.
And how do you put yourself in that position of really becoming, like you said, when you're doing the Pathfinder with people, somehow you put yourself in that condition of being the instrument, no? So
yes, absolutely.
So you have to step a little bit aside from who you are, that ego self, and let God work. Yeah. Do his job. How do you put yourself in that condition in order to do the Pathfinder, for
It's a little bit similar to, let's say you're an Atma Kriya teacher, and just before you give initiation, you have to find a way how to let Babaji take over the scene, right? So what I do is pray. I pray until I'm done, and when I'm done, I'm in that state, and then it's happening. Okay. That's it. It's
basically connecting to the divine.
Yes, that's it. And then they say what is happening in the Pathfinder sessions anyway is completely beyond the mind. You know, there's no way how to replicate a session from the other one, or to just do things that happened with the other person, because each one is completely individual, and sometimes we go into very individual ways, even extremes, even things that don't make sense. Okay. Yeah, but afterwards people say, well, this really helped me, you know. So this is often things that you don't understand, you know, or things that are being brought up, like, you know, that negativity is hiding somewhere, but you elegantly roll over it and say, no, everything is okay, you know. And then we go one time more. He said, no, everything is fine. We go another time, and it's like, why are you asking this question, you know?
So you repeatedly go in that place.
It depends, no? But it can be, yes, yeah. So because, it's really, but let's say, in general, what it really helps with is that the vibration of the person changes, you know, especially in the months afterwards. And what I've also seen is that by the grace of Guruji, people get sometimes prepared for what's coming. You know? So that's also there. Yeah. But it's not recommended to anyone. So I don't want to market it here. But I want to say what it is people normally hear it from another person who took the session. And that's the marketing, if you will, because the people trust that person. They say, you have a friend, he's telling you, wow, I went to the session, it really helped me, you know. Because you trust that friend, you trust what he's sharing with you, and then you develop trust in that it might be also something for you. Yeah. So this is how people come to the session normally. And if it would be the other way, if I would say, oh, we have this great session, you know, marketing, blah, 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 and you come, then people may come.
And they will have expectations because
they have
there's
expectation.
A product that you need to deliver to them, and this is not a product.
Exactly.
This is a connection. This is like a genuine interaction and quite personal one.
So the best thing is people hear it from a friend. They don't have any expectation. For example, France. I think Bhakti Pathfinder is most popular in France. And it's because they just come with an emptiness. They don't have expectations. They just come because they have heard it from a friend. And then inside the scenarios, we can really have the greatest benefits because they're not sitting there and want to discuss. They're not sitting there and are skeptical.
Yeah.
They're not sitting there and want to analyze. But actually with all people, almost 99.8% of the hundreds of people who came, normally it's always like this, But sometimes you have a skeptic there, and so they also have to do the duty because a person came to the session for a reason. So, and then it has to go its own way, yeah. And then often afterwards they also see how good it was, But in those cases, then I just have to stick to the unconditional helping thing, and I just do it, even if there's some real skepticism in the room. Yeah.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
Yeah.
You have to put forward. It's for the benefit of the whole group.
Yeah.
And it's also a test somehow of your own confidence in the path, in what you do.
Yeah.
And you don't have to let this go just because people are. I mean, we could all drop our YouTube channels now if it was for this, because the way the mindset is built on what you need to deliver, the expectations, the competition, you might say, we are not fitting anywhere. We're outside of the mainstream completely, and this is something that I really enjoy in this process, is finding your voice regardless of whatever comes towards you as influences, It's a strange word. We have influencers. So the mindset is, I want to influence people. But this is the danger, That's why I love the Pathfinder idea. You will influence people by your transformation, not by the show you put on, because people get up in the Maya, in the illusion. Yes. And they say, oh, I want to be like that guy, I want to be like that guy. He has that, I want that also.
But a common thing that I see is that, let's say, a connecting theme that we all have, also working with so many people and seeing what's actually going on. Because you can, we are all nice people,
Yeah.
But if you look at what actually is going on, it's a different thing. And what's actually going on is a lot of people of us, there is this problem of accepting ourselves, although we are beautiful.
Yeah.
That's Guruji said, what he said is that God has created everyone in a very unique way. There's no reason to go out begging to be like the other person. Yeah. So, but we have apparently such a problem to just look and see, oh wow, actually it's good, But this is, I think, also it's the world, the zeitgeist, that is pushing so much for everyone to be like Bill Gates, or that he have to become rich and famous. Everything is measured in quantity.
Yeah. And it's on the outside. This is the outside standard. Nobody's looking at the inside standard, because the moral compass is somehow a little bit confused nowadays. People lost sight of what really matters.
Is everything a quantity?
Yeah.
The whole industries, I don't know, whatever industry you choose, they have a management organigram, and it runs down from the top to the bottom. It's just like a military machine working, and it's only demanding numbers. Yeah, and of course then numbers you can easily measure with all the technology and AI around. So you can infinitely measure, and infinitely micromanage each person. But also you're crippling the individual in a way that everyone starts to believe they are not right, and you really diminish the room for creativity and the beauty of the person. And you try to make everyone
like a robot, you know. But this is the message, I think, also of Bhakti Marga, is to encourage this humanity and to see actually how unique everyone is, and to, yes, we have to work, and we have to work in certain organizations, but to more and more bring that up. Because if you actually look at the most successful organizations, they have that authenticity.
Yeah.
And they don't compromise it and say, we will be like the other company.
Yeah.
You know? So,
yeah, finding yourself, be yourself in the true form of who you are, and that starts with just looking, asking the right question: who am I? And I think that is the question that opens the path. Like you said, I was genuinely interested. I was genuinely having this question about the meaning of life, and if you have that, then the path will open, and you will have that guidance. Because some people maybe don't have the chance to meet a guru. They don't have this, because billions of people, not everybody has a guru, like in real life, to really connect with him. But they could start this journey with themselves, asking that question: who am I? And go beyond a little the conditioning of society, you know?
yes. I mean, sometimes I think an avatar or a saint like Guruji, like if he would have appeared earlier,
Yeah.
not in like this current time, people may not have been able to grasp what he says,
Yeah.
because he is not coming in the regular Vedic way.
Yeah.
Of course, he's a Vedic teacher, if you want. Like the whole Hari Bhakta Sampradaya, everything that we do is rooted in Hinduism, is properly executed according to the rules. But there is something that he brings in, is a personal connection.
Mhm.
The way he teaches is through experience and
Yeah.
personal relationship, right?
Yeah.
And when I came to Bhakti Marga, and I think anyone who feels inspired to connect with Guruji or Bhakti Marga, you will enter into this personal relationship. Actually, regardless if he's your like direct physical, you can sit
Yeah.
and eat with him, or if it's just your inside connection, you connect him within the
Yeah.
his omniscience, right?
Yeah.
But it will be, I think, the same. So regardless, he will push or invite everyone
Yeah.
into this personal relationship, and this personal, that bring the change. That will bring the change. And this is something that maybe people are now also looking for. It is something where there is a demand for authenticity. People don't want machine. People don't want only glossy, shiny, perfect everything. But people are looking for inside the personal connection. So I think that's what Bhakti Marga is, and what it has to offer.
To offer, yeah.
It's really in the heart.
Man, this is, I think, we are just scraping the surface, and this begs for another walk. For sure. Haribol. It was
glad.
amazing to walk with Vandhan, and I hope you will also check out his channel. I'm gonna put a link in the description. So, love you, man. It was amazing
Love you too.
conversation.
Thank you so
Yeah.
much. It's really great.
It's great.
It's really a nice kickoff of a nice continuing story,
Yeah.
I would say.
And
amazing.
we should do this more often when we
Yeah.
have the time, because, like he said, it's a different ecosystem here. People are starting to do their seva. Stay on the channel if you like this type of content, and stay grounded, walk straight.
Yeah, and everyone makes progress, you know, even if you think like me today you never get anywhere.
Yeah.
But I think the next step is ahead. So
Yeah.
also for every one of us, we're moving forward.
Yeah.
Take it, Dave.
Dear Dev.